Hi, this is the C, or the third video in the series of the ABCs of making maple syrup. In this video we're going to go collect the syrup that we've stored in the woods all week, and we're going to boil it down and can it into finished maple syrup. So before we do that, I want to show you some more equipment that you may want to use. This is a stainless steel boiling pan. I got it from Gordon Food Service for I don't know how much money. It's 12 inches by 21 inches by I think 6 inches deep. And you can see that the outside is pretty charred. And you're never going to get that clean. But the inside, you got to clean it every year, of course. And the best way to do that is with white vinegar. Soak it in there and it'll just dissolve all that caramelized sugar. But I have 3 of these. And I put them in the sap stove like this. There's not a lot of other equipment that you're going to need to finish your maple syrup, but one of the things you're going to need is something that tells you when the syrup is syrup, when it goes from sap to syrup. And there's 2 ways to do that. One is with a thermometer, a candy thermometer. I'll give you the exact temperature, but I believe that when the temperature is 7.5 degrees above the boiling point of water, it's syrup. And above the boiling point of water needs to be determined each day, so you have to calibrate your thermometer on the day that you're going to boil syrup and see what is the boiling point of water that day. It depends upon temperature and air pressure and other things. It's kind of complicated, but not really. The other way, and I think the better way, is to buy a syrup hygrometer. And I'll show it to you when we get to that point in the process, but it measures the specific density of your syrup, and when it's a certain density, with a thing floating in this holder of syrup, when it floats at the right level, it's the right density, it's syrup. And that, I think, is the better way to go. So if you don't have to buy a lot of equipment for this process, but if you're going to buy a couple different things, buy taps, you need to buy some boiling pans, and I would recommend that you buy a syrup hygrometer. Pretty useful thing. And then there's some filtering equipment as well. And you can use anything from t-shirts to flannel, towels. I actually went out and bought a 2-step filter material. The first step is similar to a big coffee filter, and the second step is a thicker thing, and I use them both. And you're going to want to use something like that, because that separates the difference between, you know, good syrup and really good syrup. Alright, let's go. Okay, so the first thing we're going to go do is go collect all our sap buckets out in the woods. Yep, it is dark 30 and the fire is just starting. It's going to be a long day today. The reason you can't really see this is that it's still dark out. It's 7 o'clock. I have 3 pans filled on the stove. That's about 15 gallons of sap. 7 o'clock. Sun's just starting to come up. Well, I'm about 2 hours into my boil. I have 5-gallon buckets, so that's 25 gallons of sap that's gone on the stove. Here's a little tip for you. If you see ice in your sap buckets, throw it away. That's probably pure water, that ice. Save you some boil time. And that slotted spoon, also use it to wipe away this foam. This is why you don't boil sap inside. That's a lot of steam. Empty buckets. Full buckets. 10:30. We've been boiling for 3.5 hours. And it's already starting to turn brown. These are my two helpers. I just poured more sap into the pans. Really cuts down on the boil. Nothing you can do about that. You can see we're starting to get some color there. That's what you want, a nice hot fire. It's 12:30 and I've just transferred 3 pans of sap into 2. Getting close. Got my finishing pot ready. I'm going to transfer down to 1 pan now. Take a look at that syrup. That's the color of it now. That's 2 o'clock. The closer that the sap becomes syrup, the more it'll foam when you're boiling it. If you don't like that, because it does burn the sides of your pans and it caramelizes and it makes your syrup darker, you can put a little bit of butter in, and I mean a little bit. Time to take it to the barn. Okay, so now we're in the finishing pot, boiling off maybe the last half gallon to a gallon of sap before we have syrup. And we determine it's syrup by using this hygrometer. I have it filled with hot syrup and it's floating low. When it's floating at that red line, it's syrup. So we got a ways to go yet. So this is my filter system. I have 2 coffee cans bolted together with a thick flannel filter between them. Of course, there's no bottom, there's no top, so the syrup can run into from one can through the filter into the bottom can, and I have a tap for drawing it off. These are coffee filter type filters, and I put 4 of them in at a time, pour the hot syrup in. When the first filter gets clogged, pull it out. The second one will still be in, it'll be working. When that gets clogged, pull it out. Third and fourth, and away you go. Works pretty well. Nope, not yet. I'm testing the syrup now, and it just really jumped. It is so close. It needs to be there, and it's there. I could probably take it off right now if I wanted to. You want to filter this when it's as hot as possible. This is the finished syrup coming out. It's just like canning anything else. Fill it up almost to the top.
There she is.